So Congress has made a deal on funding the government tonight. Nancy Pelosi has agreed with Mitch McConnell on how to go forward with that. So that's not going to be one of the things that could slow this down. Let's listen to what Chuck Schumer said about the possibility of slowing this down in the Senate.
We have tactical options to slow them down. We will use every tool in the toolkit. Now, admittedly, McConnell has changed the rules, so we have fewer tools and they're less sharp. But every tool we have, we will use. To slow it down is to give us more time to convince the American people. And I don't believe it's a fait accompli.
Senator Booker, I know of no tool that can really, in a significant way, slow down a nomination like this. The tools you have for legislative matters are more varied, especially budget matters and budget points of order, but none of that stuff applies here. It seems the Republicans have enough days left on the calendar this year to get this done, if that means keeping you in over Thanksgiving or whatever it takes. But in the slowing it down, it sounds like Senator Schumer's hope is that the debate that will be heard in the slowing it down will have an effect that could then somehow change the outcome of this.
Lawrence, I know very well that you know the rules of the Senate, and one of the many areas of mastery, you know what tools we have, and the toolbox is very, with the way that Mitch McConnell's been running the Senate, the toolbox is got very few, let's say, magic wands in it that will do any good, and you know that. So we have a difficult challenge, but you put it right. We still don't know what the response of the American people is going to be. And just like healthcare would have been torn down had not the American people stood up, spoke up, rose up. Marches, demonstration, appeals to senators' conscience, and eventually that changed the way. This is the possibility that we have before us and you saw it with the poll you just showed, is that most of America doesn't want this. The majority of Americans do not want this. They think that, just like Ruth Bader Ginsburg in her final public appeal, they actually agree with her that it is right to wait until the next president, because so much is on the balance here. Let the people speak is what she wanted, and I think that's what the majority of the American people want. But let me just say one final thing. Don't lose sight of that. Perhaps the biggest influence all of us could have is in this election season. In fact, we preserve a host of options to undo any damage, even if they're successful in putting this person on the Supreme Court. We have a lot of options to reverse the damage that's being done only if we win the presidency and win the United States Senate back. We got to keep our eyes on that ball. There is an urgency now to this election. We already thought this was the most important election of our lifetime, but now it's gone to a whole different level in the stratosphere of importance for an election. So I'm hoping that, if anything, this activates. People need to use their time, energy, resources, and invest it in this election. In many ways, with healthcare in the balance, the ability to control your own body, the ability to organize in unions, as we saw with that being pushed back, voting rights, civil rights, LGBTQ rights, all of these things are now in the balance. Please, with all your urgency now, we need people to animate and really invest themselves in the election in November.